Sorry. Okay. So what I'm saying, if you see this blue color marbles like this, a blue color marbles are, making a layer on the surface below which there is another layer of pink color marbles, again a layer of blue color marbles. So can I say it is like a layer A, then it is a layer B, then layer A, layer B, layer A, layer B. This is how a layering has been happening in 3-dimension. And when we talk about the first layering, you will see they are not connected or touching each other. All the atoms in one particular layer are not touching each other. They are touching the next layer atoms. Clear, students? That is one thing you need to notice carefully. Okay. Now look at this. This is how the body center is. Now, if I slice it from all the various directions, you should be able to figure out how exactly the contribution is from all the corners and from the center, or what we call it as the body center. So I guess you can understand that. So 1/8 contributions, all of them are becoming 8, and one at the center that makes 8, 2 atoms, which means rank is 2 for BCC. Now let us see here now. If you observe this carefully, let me annotate it once again and show you that if this is the center of the atom, which we can see, I mean any reference atom, there are 4 atoms touching it from the above layer, right? 1, 2, this one, and this one. From the above layer, 4 atoms are touching it. Same way, the 4 atoms from the below are touching it. Clear? So if you take any particular corner, we will see that all of these atoms are touching that particular blue atom or blue marble which is present. That's why the coordination number when it comes to BCC is actually coordination number in BCC is actually 8. Okay, so that is a coordination number. So let us see that. So the coordination number here, you can see it is touching top 4 and the bottom 4. So that's why the coordination number when it comes to BCC is 8. Now see the FCC. I want you to understand one thing carefully, students. Okay, इस picture को थोड़ा दिमाग में अच्छे से रखना. Keep this view as a very important view. Okay. Now let me annotate this view and tell you why it is important and where exactly it is being used. First, remember it this way, that I'm making a layer of first. This is one particular type of layer. This is all one particular layer. Next, we have this as the second layer of atoms. This is the second layer of atoms. Next, we have this as the third layer of atoms. And then we have this as the fourth layer of atoms. Correct? Let me redo this. So this is the second layer of atoms. Yeah. I can say these layers as different forms here. Like this, I can say as layer A type. Okay. Next, this I can say as layer B type. This is B type of layering. Then I have C type of layering. And again, A type of layering is repeated. Are you able to imagine this, everybody? So here we have a layering of A type happening here, right? So you can see it is a repeated pattern of A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, and on a similar. I can take first layer as C also. I can say CBA, 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 and this type of layering is happening. Okay. What you need to notice carefully, students, is this first layer is only occupying one corner of a unit cell, right? The first layer is occupying one corner of a unit cell. The second layer, if you observe carefully, it is occupying 1, 2, and 3 corners. You can see it is occupying 3 corners and occupying 3 faces. It is occupying 3 faces. So 3 corners, 3 faces. That is about the second layer. The third layer is also the same. 3 corners, 3 faces. And the last layer, A layer again, is going to have only covering one corner of a unit cell. Keep this in mind, very important for problem solving. First layer, second layer, third layer, fourth layer. The first layer is A type, all of these are A atoms. Next layer is all of them are B atoms. Third layer is C atoms. Fourth layer is again A atoms. So if I cut them properly from all different directions, I will get a pattern of repeated units, what we call it as FCC unit cell. So I think this point is clear to all of you. So what is happening? Right. So let us go ahead slightly. We'll try to go ahead and see where it is useful. Yeah. Now you can see these are all the corners and faces. So in an expanded form, this is exactly how they have staged. Now look at the same thing I'm repeating here. This is layer A. The first one is layer A, layer B, layer C, and layer A again. Yeah. That's how it is a repeated pattern. ऐसा बहुत सारे patterns repeated है. ऐसा बहुत बड़ा layer है. उसमें से हमने थोड़े से atoms collect किए, तो we are able to see that unit cell. Okay. Yep. Right. So now let me slice it from all different ways. This is very difficult to imagine. FCC बहुत difficult होता है imagine करना. So this needs a slicing from all different directions here. So you can see once you slice it, you can feel it that all these blue marbles are making the corners, which is 1/8 contribution, and these yellow ones are on the faces, which is making 1/2 contribution from 6 faces. Totally, we will have rank as 4. So I think this imagination is clear, everybody, right? So that's what we will get as 4 atoms in this unit cell. Now, if you see that the coordination number here, it's very important to understand how the coordination number is. Yeah. For that, what I will do, if you observe carefully, this particular reference atom, yeah, is touching how many atoms? Let us see. It is touching the face atom here. It is touching the face atom here. Got it? It is touching the face atom here in this way, and it is touching the face atom here. So how many atoms it did touch? It touched 4 in the sorry, this also. Here also this is touching this particular face atom. I will remove this part first. So I want you to understand the first 4 of them, which are above that. Yeah. So like if this is the atom, above that there are 4 faces of different unit cells, and those 4 are touching it. And on this particular plane, if you see this plane here, I want you to visualize this plane, entire plane here, from here till this point, till this here, this entire plane. If you imagine this particular plane, there are 4 atoms touching it, and you can see these 4 atoms, show you. So one is this atom, one is this atom, one is this atom here, sorry, one is this atom, and one is this atom. On this plane, these 4 atoms are touching. In a similar way, you can see these 4 atoms are touching at the bottom here. Right? So if you look at it, so at the bottom here, these 4 atoms are touching this atom, and this atom, and this atom. These 4 atoms are been touching. So all face atoms from different unit cells are touching that particular corner. That's how they are becoming 8 of it. Clear, students? So we just delete all of them. You can see that now. Yeah. See that? You get an idea, like those 4 on that particular plane, this 4 on the above plane, and those 4 on the bottom plane. So you can see total coordination number 12. So that is the coordination number 12. Now, see the packing usually how it is happening. Yeah, this is like an egg tray packing, right? If you take an egg tray, this is a kind of packing we will see. Like all the eggs are arranged in this particular line like this, and we will have this type of packing here. Yeah. So in that case, if you look at it here, we will have something like a cubic void which is forming. Yeah. And top of that, again, you'll put one more egg tray here, right? If you put one more egg tray exactly on top of it, and you keep repeating this type of patterns, that's when we will have simple cubic forming. So you can see this is what we have done. We have sliced at one particular direction, and as you remove it out, now you can see, observe it carefully for some time, you get a correct picture that how these unit cells are repeated throughout the entire crystals. अथर्व समझ में आया बेटा?
Yes, sir.
Right. So that's what is happening here. That's how the simple cubic is formed. Now, if you look at the other cases, yeah, other than simple cube, if you look at it, what you will have. This is how the BCC is. Okay, so you could see the one layer on a particular planar layer, they are not touching each other. Okay, honestly, this is more of an egg view, because eggs also does not, when you keep it in tray, they won't touch each other. But at the same time, if you put somewhere in the middle, in the grooves of that eggs, the second layer, then that becomes BCC. Got it? So that is how the BCC structure will be repeated. Clear on that? Now, to imagine FCC, this is important to understand first that when you have this closed packing in a squaric spaces, these are all square spaces, I could make even more close packing by making it a triangular spaces, right? So you can see this square spaces, I can make it more triangular this way, right, students? So ये तो और अच्छे से pack हो गया ना? So compared to what we had earlier as a square, now this is more of a triangular, voidal space. So which means this is a better spacing. I mean, this is a better packing as compared to that of square packing. Now, this type of a packing, let's say this is one particular layer. This is one particular layer. So we can take something like not just eggs. If you put, all fruits in a basket to try to maximize the number of fruits or apples, if you want to place them, you will always try to pack in this way. This is the best packing you can imagine. So on this, there are two types of grooves. Just see this carefully, students. What are the types of grooves we are able to find it out here? So one is these type of squares, sorry, these type of triangles are pointing up. So imagine these type of triangles which are pointing up. So where are they forming here? These are all one here, one here, one here. Yeah. And you can see here, here. These are all the triangles which are pointing up. Yeah. But if we take triangles which are pointing down, so you can see, I can point them out, or I'll just use the other color. So you can see that here. Yeah. So you can see here, this is one, this is the second one, third one, fourth one. So you can see the repeated ones. Yeah. So you can observe there are two types of triangles. Yeah. If you place in a, this is the closest packing imaginable in a particular layer. एक layer में इससे close packing हम लोग imagine नहीं कर सकते. When we talk about spherical marbles, on these marbles, I have two types of the second layer where I can keep all the layers on this triangles which are pointing up, or on the triangles which are pointing down. That is where I can put the second layer, right? Which means I have choices here. I can have a type of packing. Then if you put it in this green type of layering, that might become B. Or if you put it in that blue type of grooves, that will become C, pattern C. I can give any name. Okay. So A, then C, then B, or then B, then C. Anyways, you can pack it up. Okay. So let us see if this is how the packing goes. Then how does it look like? See, this is A layering. Now you can see the arrows, sorry, the triangles which were going down, which are pointing down, that is where the those on those grooves, this green color marbles are being placed. So this is a B type of packing. First an A layering, then a B layering. Now the this triangles which are pointing up are still left, right? अभी वो वैसे ही है, right? They are still visible from A's grooves now also. Those A grooves are still visible now. Now, if that has been packed in the next layering, now you can see we are packing those, that becomes C. And again, if you bring back one more atom, which is exactly the way the A was positioned. If A was positioned here, see, it is like this. If A was here, then B was somewhere here. Then C was somewhere here. Now, again, if you bring back here, that becomes A. So now exactly on the above layer, we will have A. Or if this is a first one, if blue one is a A layer, this green one is a B layer, and this orange one is a C layer, then below that, again, we will get an A layer. So ABC, ABC, ABC is repeated. Clear, students? Now that is where we did all the cuttings from all different directions, and we try to get the unit cell. Okay, that's why I told you, remember that view which I told you. Now I'll just try to pause it exactly at the right point. So watch it properly. Now watch it carefully. Just give it a time. Try to digest that properly. Just digest this image properly, everyone. And try to recall my words, which I told you that when I told you that when FCC was made, it is between a layer A, B, C, A, where first A is only contributing to the corner. You can see corner and corner, one corner, right, guys? The second layer was contributing to three corners and three faces. Can you see this? Corner one, corner two, and corner behind. And three faces, 1, 2, and 3, these three faces, right, students? And then I said the same thing for the next layering also, corner 1, corner 2, and one which is beside, and face 1, face 2, and face 3 here on the beside. Clear, students? That's why I said A, B, C, A, B, C, A layering will come across, and that's how the FCC works. Clear on this packing, everybody? Right. So this is how the FCC has been formed. Clear, students? Okay. Now that's sufficient enough for you to understand how the FCC works, right? Second, I'll just share it. Yeah. Now imagine the same packing, what I told you, the packing, how it looks like. If it is, you know, A type of packing here, see, this is what we discussed earlier, A type of packing, then we have B type of packing, and in this groups we had C type of packing. If we keep doing that in 3 dimension, this will become ABC type of packing, which is going to give us FCC. But if you have this packing, students, where you have A, B, and again A is repeated, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B type of repetition is seen, then that becomes hexagonal close packing. You see, this is how it is. This is the hexagon, right? This is the hexagon in which there is A type of packing, then B type of packing, and C type of packing happen. Let's see here, for instance, if you look at this A, B, C, A type and B type of packing, watch it carefully now, what I do. If we take it from here, let's say I take it from here, these two I have joined, and then I have joined these two A's, and I have joined these two A centers, these two A centers, these two A centers, and these two A centers. Yeah, here. And then we have these 3 B atoms which are present, and above these again I'll get the A type of packing. So if I join those two also, then this is what I will get. This entire thing is A, which I have drawn here, and again we will get those 3 B balls, and then we have this A marbles here, right? So A B is what you'll get. What you will learn is that these three atoms will become a part of this hexagon inside itself. They will not be outside anymore. They don't contribute anything outside this unit cell. They will be inside that unit cell. Okay. So therefore, if you look at this, it is like this. This is the hexagon which is forming, and here also this is the hexagon which is forming. And if you connect all of that this way, you will get a hexagonal unit cell. Got it? Now let us see how much the contribution of atoms is from various corners. This corner is being shared by every 1/6 of the hexagon, because you can see, for instance, if you take this any A here, for instance, this A is contributing 1/6 here, 1/6 here, 1/6 here, 1/6 here. Like this, it will keep contributing 1/6 to every unit cell. So I have 6 above, and 6 below. So there are 12 corners. So every 12 corners is contributing 1/6 of it atom. So there are 2 atoms contributing from corners. Right, students? Next, then there are 3 atoms within them. So body centered is contributing 3 atoms completely. And you can see one atom is here, which are the ends of those faces. So we can say there are 2 ends and each contributing half of it, which makes it 1 atom. So 2, 1 and 3, total 6 atoms. Clear, students? So total atoms per unit cell is 6. Okay. Right. So we have total 6 atoms here, and now you see that this is the height which we are talking about, and which is equal to C. I given this as C. And if you find the surface area and multiply that with height, you will get the volume of the hexagon. And that's what we are trying to find out now. See, what I can say here, that 2r, because this is the edge length of a hexagon, and that will be 2 times of r, right? So we got 2r here. And if we take the area of this one triangle and multiply by that 6 pieces, we will get the surface area of this hexagon. So 6 times area of that one triangle is √3 a square by 4. Because this is an equilateral triangle, area of that equilateral triangle is √3 a square by 4, right? So that is the area of the surface. We got the area of the surface. All I need to know is now the height of this hexagon. How do I find the height? Okay, see this way, students. These 3 atoms are present, on which this atom is present above in this groove like this, and this atom is present below in that groove. This is like 3 atoms here, and above one atom is present and below one atom is present. So it is not exactly 4r distance, because here we have r distance, here we have r distance. Got it? But between them, because they are falling in the groove of that is not exactly r distance. So how do we calculate that distance? So imagine this. These 3 atoms, I have kept it here. Okay. So we have atom, I mean marbles, or you can say atoms. These 3 are there. And above this atom is being placed over it. Here it is being placed. So when it is placed, we can say one thing. The center of this above atom, if we draw a line to the center of the below 3 atoms, if we draw it to the centroid, that is the distance we are trying to find out. Half of that distance will be the c by 2. I mean, that distance will be half of this, which is c by 2. So we are trying to find out this distance, OD distance. And if I find the OD distance and multiply it by 2, I'll get the total height. To do that, what I'm doing here, you know that this is the equilateral triangle. This is the equilateral triangle. So therefore, an angular bisector will always touch the centroid. And I know since this distance is r, I know what is this distance OA. So OA will be equal to r by cos 30. OA will be equal to r by cos 30. So cos 30 is equal to 3 by 2. So I'll get this as 2r by root 3. So this distance I got as 2r by root 3. And this distance is 2r and this distance is 2r by root 3. I think now we can calculate OD using Pythagoras theorem. So OD is equal to 2r whole square minus 2r by root 3 whole square. And when you calculate that, you will get that OD value, right? I mean that as 2r root 2 by root 3. And double of that distance is this height. Double of that distance is height. So I would suggest rather than deriving all of this, you would directly remember this value. It's a very important value. The height of the hexagon is 4r under root 2 by 3. It is 4r times of under root 2 by 3. So we calculated the volume. We got the height. Multiplying these two, we will get the volume. So the volume we are getting it as 24 root 2 r cube. Now we got the volume here. Based on the volume now, we can calculate packing fraction. Packing fraction is the contribution multiplied by the volume of one marble divided with the total volume of hexagon. On doing that, we are getting it as 0.74, which is exactly same as FCC. And which tells us a very important fact that whether it is HCP, whether it is FCC, as long as you have closed packing, because that is the closest packing we can imagine, either it should be AB type or ABC type. In this closed packing, the packing fraction remains same. So we will get this as 0.74 ohm. Any doubt here, students? I hope you guys understood HCP. Amal, any doubt here, beta?
No, sir.
No. So I was written that here HCP, FCC have same packing. CCP and FCC means the same thing. HCP is AB type of packing. CCP is ABC type of packing. Okay. So this way, BAC, 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 if you put it, that will become closed packing. Yeah. Next. Let us understand what is the limiting ratio or the radius ratios which are present in the voids. See, every empty space which is present after the formation of the unit cell, within that unit cell, we call them as voids. Okay. And radius ratio is nothing but we are trying to express what is the size of the radius of a void versus the size of the radius of that atom. So when you take that, we write it as r by r, where r is the radius of the atom present in the void versus r, which is the radius of the atom which is making the lattice. Clear? How many different types of voids we will come across? Let's see. The first type we will see is a trigonal void. We have is a trigonal void. Trigonal void is a void where you have these atoms 1, 2, 3 atoms touching each other. And imagine this is the size which you will get, right? The void is been forming. This is the void which you will form. In that void, if I place a small atom, because this is the void space, and in that void space, I'm adding a small atom. Right, students? So therefore, now you can see that from this point to this point, this becomes the capital R distance, and the small distance which is present here, that will become the small r distance. So the ratio of small r by capital R tells us how much is the void size, what is the typical void size it has to maintain. All right. So how do I get that? So what I did, I written this ABC, which is a equilateral triangle, and to the centroid, the point here is, to the centroid, the point is D. So from A to D, it is an angular bisector making an angle theta, which is 30 degrees. So if this distance is what I need to calculate, then I must know what is AE. And AE distance is actually capital R, right? AE distance is capital R. And this is cos 30. So I'll get to know what is this distance. So you can see AD, which is small r plus capital R, and cos 30, which is AE by AD. And AD here is equal to AE by cos 30, and A is R, cos 30 is root 3 by 2. So AE value, we found it as R plus R divided by R is equal to 2 by root 3. On solving, I will get the small r by capital R is equal to 0.155. So small r by capital R is 0.155, which means, students, try to understand this, that if three atoms are touching each other with the closest packing, then you will get a triangular void. So typically, when three atoms of equal sizes are are being kept together to the closest distance possible, like if you take three billiard balls or three pool balls and bring it to the closest of the packing, then a small void is formed in between them. That is a triangular void. The radius ratio of that versus capital R would be equal to 0.155. Okay. Now, students, it is very difficult to have an ideal atom of exactly the void size, correct? We cannot have an atom ideally of exact void size. In that case, it might happen that this capital R, sorry, the small r of the atom in the void may be slightly bigger. In that case, what happens? This is how the things will start changing, correct? So imagine these three we won't touch anymore, but it will still be a triangular void, but these three will not touch anymore. So what happens? Instead of being 0.155, here R by R will be greater than 0.155. But you would say, sir, that way we can extend up to any level, right? So we can keep on extending as the inside atom will become bigger. No. If it is a solid crystal, this atom has a certain limiting ratio up to which only it can touch three atoms. The minute it start growing beyond that ratio, beyond that radius, it will not touch three atoms, rather it will touch four atoms now. So in that case, this is not the void anymore, correct? It is like this. Imagine this. I would try to explain in a simple way. Suppose this is the space which is present initially for an atom, okay? And I have three atoms in it, okay? I have three atoms in it enclosed this way. Yep. And there is a small void you can see inside. Inside there is a small atom which has a particular void. Yeah. So you can see inside there is a small atom which might be present, correct? Now what is happening? Slowly, as the inside atom grows, if the inside atom grows here, as the inside atom grows, what I can say, that the atoms present here will slightly move away from each other. The atom here inside has grown up and it will keep growing here. So till what extent it can grow? Now suppose the size limit for this boundary is this much. So which means this atom can maximum shift up to this point. This atom can maximum shift up to this point. This atom can maximum shift up to this point. And the inside atom can grow maximum up to this, right? After this, this cannot grow, which means now this atom won't fit in here. Rather, what it will do, instead of trying to push the other atoms, it will ensure that these atoms are close by. These atoms are close by here, like this, and that new atom, that atom which was present in the void, instead of staying in that void, now it will come out of it. It will come out of it and it will be present on the surface of these three. All right, now it will be present in the surface of these three, like this. So this will be present on the surface of these three, this way. So this will come as surface of this. Clear? No, but this is not a void, sir, which means we must have one more atom above this, which should have one more atom above this. Now imagine these four atoms together. 1, 2, 3, and this red one above, 4 atoms. Can you imagine that? So when you have those 4 atoms touching each other, then there is a void space coming in between them. That is called tetrahedral void. Let me introduce to tetrahedral void. See, this is the tetrahedral void. So we have 1, 2, 3 atoms touching each other, and then there is above one more atom, and there is a space coming in between. Now this is not a planar space, it is three-dimensional space. If we connect all the centers together, we will get a tetrahedron. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a tetrahedron we get. On the tetrahedron, here somewhere is that void. At the center is that void. Clear, students? Now that void does, in that void, if we keep an atom here, right? Imagine I kept an atom here at the center here, there is an atom. And that atom will have certain radius, small r. That will have a radius, small r. And our idea is to compare small r and capital R. Now you can say that from this distance to this distance, that is capital R plus small r. And this entire distance will be 2r, 2 capital R. And this is also 2 capital R. This is also 2 capital R, 2 capital R. Correct? And this distance is also 2 capital R, because that is how the tetrahedron is forming and they all touch each other. So I would have this as the small r plus capital R, small r plus capital R, and this would be 2r. So you can see this is an isosceles triangle. And in isosceles triangle, it will make an angular bisector here. If you draw it to the AB line or AC line with a perpendicular. And we know the angle of a tetrahedron, right? The angle of a tetrahedron is 109 degrees 28 minutes. And this bisector is cutting exactly half of that. So we can say that now the angle here is the 109 degrees minus 109 degrees 28 minutes by 2, which is 54 degrees 64 minutes. If this angle is known, we know this angle, right? Because sum of the angles in a triangle is 180. So I will go that angle as 90 minus 54 degrees 64 minutes. So I can say that this entire distance is capital R and this distance is small r plus capital R. That makes us a cos theta. So this will be cos theta is equal to this capital R divided by small r plus capital R. So when I do that, that will be small r plus capital R. And if I reverse that, it will become capital R plus R by small r by capital R will be equal to 1 by cos theta. And cos of 90 minus 54 degrees, right, which is sine of 54 degrees 64 minutes. So if I solve this, I'll get r by r is equal to 0.225. Clear, students? I'll get this as 0.225. So this is one thing you must learn, that in a triangular void, we will get r by r distance as 0.225. Okay. Now, where do you find these voids? Literally in an cubic unit cell. In a cubic unit cell, especially FCC, because cubic unit cell, we are specifying for a closed packing. So when you have very close packing, we will get FCC. In an FCC, what you would find is that this atom, corner atom, and the next adjacent 3 phase atoms will be touching each other. Correct? I showed you, right? This way I told you. Imagine A layer, then we have B layer, then we have C layer, then A layer. Correct? In that layering, you have seen that these are all atoms touching each other like this. So when these 4 atoms are touching each other, in the center of that, there is a void which is forming, and that is a tetrahedral void. If it is not understood, observe this carefully. This is the face center of this particular face. Done. And this is the face center of this particular face. And this is the face center of this particular face. So now if you could imagine these three faces, when they touch each other, and above us, if this atom lies over it, can you see this is becoming a tetrahedron? So exactly at the center of the tetrahedron, we will have a tetrahedral void. So that's how the tetrahedral void is formed. But if you have noticed that the same type of void will be formed on the other side of the corner also, where I can take these 3 faces to connect each other, and this corner can connect all of these 3 touching each other. Then exactly at the center, we will have a tetrahedral void. Which means, students, observe this, from here, this distance, if it is x, from here to the center of the cube is also x, from here also it is x, from here also it is x, till this point it is x. So if I take those x, 4x, all that 4x will become how much beta? Body diagonal distance. So that becomes body diagonal distance. So you can see, so AE is a body diagonal, and the body diagonal is root 3a, and AC, which is the half of the body diagonal, is root 2a by 2. And we know that from here, we also know that this entire these two are touching each other. This is a face diagonal, and this face atom and this atom are touching each other, and this also these three atoms are touching each other. So from that we'll get a relation that this entire 4r is equal to root 2a. So we got two equations here, students. AC, which is equal to root 3a by 2, correct? And what is this root 3a by 2, by the way, students? Here it is half of this, I mean, this is the radius of this a plus 2 times the radius of this b, I mean, atom present in the void, plus anything which is present here, correct? Well, I don't know that, but I know that from this point to this point, it is the half of this distance, half of AC. AB plus BC is equal to AC, and AB is equal to BC. AB is equal to BC, which means this entire distance will be half of the distance AC. So, which means R plus R will be equal to root 3a by 2, which is AC by 2. So that's why it is root 3a by 4. We got R value in terms of A. We got R plus R value in terms of A. So if we divide both of them, we will get root 3 by root 2. And on solving, we will get it as 0.225. So this is one way with a trigonometry we are using. We are just using trigonometric ratios or trigonometric functions and trying to find out R by R. The other way is analyzing the FCC structure and trying to figure out R by R. Okay. So there are two important learnings we had today in this. One, in an FCC, the tetrahedral voids are formed at the center of this small cube made by the unit cell by cutting into 8 pieces. You can see it is like this. If we have one particular atom and cut it into 8 pieces, I'll show you. Yeah, like this. You can see, if at all I have one unit cell and cut into 8 pieces here. So these are all 8 pieces which I have cut them. So if I cut it into 8 pieces, you see, this is one cube and I cut them into 8 pieces. Here I'm cutting it, here I'm cutting it. ऐसे हर जगह से मैं cut करूंगा तो 8 pieces मिल रहे, right? So the smallest cube, if at all I show you the smallest cube, look at this from here. So here, this one, this one, this one. Correct. So this is that cube, right, students? Like this, we have total 8 cubes, correct? So the tetrahedral void is exactly at the center of this cube. Got it? And that is at what distance? From this point to this point, it is 1/4 of the body diagonal. That's what I have written here. So first I said that when you cut it into 8 similar parts, it will be at the center of that smallest cube. And center of that tetrahedral void is exactly 1/4 the distance of the body diagonal. So capital R plus small r is equal to root 3a, which is the body diagonal, divided by 4. And in FCC, every body diagonal will have 2 tetrahedral voids, isn't it? I've shown that also here. You can see this is one body diagonal. So we have 2 tetrahedral voids. Like that, how many body diagonals we have? This is one body diagonal number 2, body diagonal number 3. Okay. And where is the other body diagonal? Yeah, body diagonal number 3 here. And this one is the other body diagonal. Total how many? 4 body diagonals. Since we have 4 body diagonals, we will have 2 atoms on each body diagonal. So how many tetrahedral voids are there in FCC, students? 8. So if you take one FCC lattice, I would have 8 tetrahedral voids. So you can see a total of 8 tetrahedral voids are present in FCC. What is the coordination number of tetrahedral void? That means how many atoms it is touching? This void is touching 4 atoms at a time. These 4 atoms, correct? So the coordination number of tetrahedral void is 4. I hope all of you got an idea about tetrahedral voids. Now see about octahedral voids. Octahedral voids are formed when you have 3 atoms here and 3 more atoms above. So in between them, there is a groove which will come, and that looks like a tetrahedral void. See, imagine this. This figure is better to understand. Imagine this properly. 1, 2, 3 atoms are touching each other. 1, 2, 3 atoms are touching each other. If I place both of them together close like this, then there is a void space coming in between them. That is called octahedral void. The way to show that octahedral void is here. Again, I'm showing the same thing. Observe this. Okay. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. So you can feel it this way. 1, 2, 3. I'm touching these 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm touching these 3. So if I close both of them, you will get a void inside. Clear? Now these 3 above and below are like triangles, right? It is like this. These 3 are making a void like this. Below 3 are making a void like this. The center which is forming, this is the space, and this space is what we call it as. This space is what we call it as the octahedral void. So in an octahedral void, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 atoms are touching each other. Above there is one atom, below there is one atom. So if you draw them together, it looks like an octahedron, is it or not? We have learned this in chemical bonding. When you have like this 6, it will become an octahedron. So that's why it is called an octahedron void. Now I can say that it is like this. 4 atoms are touching each other, and in between them there is one atom sitting, and that is what we call it as the octahedral void. So we know that these atoms which are touching each other, when 2 atoms are touching each other, that will be 2 capital R distance, and this is also 2 capital R distance. So which means it is a square formation. This entire thing is a square formation. Yeah. So square formation means this AB distance will be √2 of that case. So therefore, AB is equal to 2R plus, and this entire distance is how much? This is 2 capital R. This is capital R, and this distance is small r. So 2 capital R plus 2 small r is equal to AB, and AC is equal to 2R. So 2R will be equal to √2A by 2. Okay, because you know that how in FCC we know always that 4R is equal to √2A. This is related always in FCC. We are using that fundamental here, that 2R is equal to √2A by 2. So √2 times of 2 AB will be equal to √2 times of 2R. So √2 into 2R, I have replaced that with A. So 2 times of √2A by 4. So which makes it 2R plus RA is equal to A. So R plus R is equal to A by 2, and capital R is equal to √2A by 4. So therefore R plus R by R is equal to √2. We are getting that as √2. So R by R, we will get this as 0.414. So finally, that is what you will get, students, that R by R is equal to small r by capital R is equal to 0.414. That is the radius ratio. And how this void is been surrounded by how many atoms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the coordination number in this case is 6. Okay, so coordination number is 6 here. Clear? In FCC structure, where is it found? Let us understand that. If this is an FCC structure, ध्यान से देखना, this is FCC structure only. In FCC structure, these are the face atoms. Face atom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All these face atoms are exactly stached like a tetrahedron, octahedron. So the center here, exactly at the body center, we will have one octahedral void. Next, if you come to the edges, we know that this is one corner, 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 and then we have face, face, face here of the other unit cell, corner here of the, sorry, we don't need that, so here, 2 corners here, and these 4 are the faces. These 2 faces are from the other unit cell, but these 2 faces of that same unit cell. So if you combine all of them here above and below, again we are getting an octahedral void, and that void will be exactly at the center of the edge. And you know that edge will contribute how much? Edge contributes 1/4 to the unit cell. So you can see we have 12 edges contributing 1/4 of the octahedral void. Total makes it 3 octahedral voids. And here we found that within the unit cell we have 1 octahedral void. So total how many octahedral voids we'll have? 4 octahedral voids. So that's an important information, students, that in FCC we have 4 octahedral voids and 8 tetrahedral voids. Clear, everyone? Now look at this. These liners what I have written are very important. Octahedral voids are formed at a body center of the FCC and at the edges of the FCC. This is what we have found. Next, 1 octahedral void is contributing completely to the body center, and 12 octahedral voids are contributing by 1/4. So total we got the octahedral voids are 4. Coordination number is 6, told you. And in FCC, how many tetrahedral voids we have? We have 8 tetrahedral voids already, and we have now found there are 4 octahedral voids. Now students, what is the learning? See, when we have very closed packing, we have seen AB, AB, AB type of packing. We have seen ABC, ABC, ABC type of packing. No matter whether it is AB packing, AB, AB packing, or ABC, ABC packing, we will get only 2 types of voids present. We will get tetrahedral voids and octahedral voids. In FCC, which is forming by ABC, ABC type of packing, here also we will have 2 types of voids only. One is tetrahedral void, the other one is octahedral void. Tetrahedral voids are found 8 of them, and octahedral voids are found 4 of them per unit cell. Got it? And in HCP, we will also have tetrahedral voids and octahedral voids only. But how many tetrahedral, how many octahedral voids? That depends upon what is the total number of atoms in HCP. But the idea here is, no matter whether it is HCP, FCC, or any type of closed packing, there would be only tetrahedral and octahedral voids present. Clear? And last important conclusion is this, that if we take n atoms in a contributing to a unit cell, for instance, in FCC, what is the contribution? It is 4 atoms. In FCC, we have 4 atoms making the unit cell. If we have 4 atoms, we will always have 8 tetrahedral and 4 octahedral voids. Which means if you have n atoms, we will always have 2n tetrahedral and n octahedral voids. I hope you guys understood what I'm saying. This can be generalized. So अगर आपको सिर्फ इतना पता है, rank of the unit cell पता है, so you can comment on how many tetrahedral and octahedral voids will be present. So if you have n atoms, which is the rank of the tetrahedral, rank of the FCC unit cell, then we will have 2n tetrahedral voids and n octahedral voids. Now we will relate the same thing with HCP. What is the rank of HCP, students? 6, which means there are 6 atoms comprising in one unit cell of HCP. So how many tetrahedral voids we must have? Twice of it, which is 12. And how many octahedral voids we'll have? Same as that, which is 6. So you can see that is what I have written. If the rank is 6, tetrahedral voids are 12, octahedral voids are 6. And in FCC, there are 4 atoms. Hence, if you have 4 atoms, we will have 8 tetrahedral voids and 4 octahedral voids. So I hope the idea is clear, everybody. So there are 3 voids we have learned so far: triangular void, tetrahedral void, and octahedral void. Last void is a cubic void. Cubic void is the largest of all of them. So cubic void is formed when we have atoms in a simple cube forming. I showed you in the video that all these atoms are touching each other, and in the middle there is a space which is left, and that is called as cubic void. And this is the largest void you can imagine, and this happens in a simple cube. And it is very simple to calculate here. You know that this total distance is root 3a, and that root 3a will be equal to 2r plus 2 capital R. So if I take this 2 common, I'll get small r plus capital R is equal to root 3a by 2. And we know that these two atoms are touching each other, so 2 capital R is equal to a. So again, r value you know, r plus r value you know, divide both of them, you'll get this as root 3. So therefore, small r plus capital R is equal to root of 0.732. So this is what you will get as the cubic void. Clear, students? Now, based on this 4 voids, what we have learned that triangular void is the smallest, then tetrahedron, octahedron, and cubic void. And we are writing it as the limiting radius ratio. See what I meant? If r by r, small r by capital R, or I can write it as r plus by r minus, because r minus usually is always bigger in size. That's why we write it capital as r minus. And cations are always smaller, so that's why smaller can be written as r plus. If this r plus by r minus ratio is less than 0.155, which means it is not able to sit even between the 3 atoms. It is so small. I mean, it is easily fitting there, which means it is not able to touch the 3 atoms also, which means the coordination number will be 2, and that is called linear void. And you will see such type of a void in beryllium difluoride because it is linear molecule. BeF2, BeCl2, these are linear molecules. Okay, carbon dioxide, linear molecule. You will see these type of voids present. If it is between 0.155 to 0.225, this is where we have seen the triangular void is forming and the coordination number is 3, right? And the shape we will find out as planar triangle. Example, AlCl3, BF3, these are all going to form triangular voids. From 0.225 up to 0.414, if you see, we will have coordination number 4, and that will form tetrahedron. Like ZnS. ZnS will have the tetrahedral bond. And 0.414, this is a special, only this is a special case, students. You can see from, I'll just mark that. Sorry. Only this is a special case, that if you have same 0.414 to 0.732 with the coordination 4, I can have a planar molecule, and that would be square planar. And the best example is PtCl4 2-. We have a separate chapter for it. We'll be learning how this will become square planar, but as of now, take that as an example. Next, 0.414 to 0.732, we will have octahedral void available, and octahedral void shape is octahedral. 0.732 to 0.999, which means almost up to 1. Coordination number is 8, and that will become body centered shape, like CSCl, for instance. So you can see this is like CSCl. Here there is CS, and all of these are covered as Cl. Got it? I hope all of you understood that. How is this going to be? What are the limiting ratios? Okay. Now, based on these limiting ratios, we will be able to now introduce different ionic crystals. The first ionic crystal is NaCl. Okay. Now, what does this NaCl mean? NaCl is taken as a reference for many of the compounds. Like how NaCl is, this is also like NaCl. Like KCl is like NaCl. KBr is like NaCl. That's how we can always relate with that. And NaCl is actually rock salt. Commonly, it is known as rock salt. So the first type is called as rock salt structure or rock salt type. In rock salt, students, Cl minus will make the FCC lattice. FCC lattice is made by corners and faces. So there are total 4 chlorines, and Na plus occupies all the octahedral voids. And we know that for every n number of atoms, we'll have n number of octahedral voids. So since there are 4 chlorines, we must have 4 sodiums. So what is the effective formula? NaCl. Na4 and Cl minus, which means empirical formula is NaCl. Next, coordination number, because Na plus lives in octahedral void, the coordination number is 6. And if you see the coordination number of Cl minus, coordination number of Cl minus is also 6. Why? Because if you see this Cl is connected to 1, 2, 3, 3 sodium atoms, and here also there is one sodium atom here, and one sodium atom. So total there are 6. Clear? And you can see, since sodium atom is present on the edge length, these 3 will touch each other. When these 3 will touch each other, we will have this total distance as edge length. So I can say that 2a, I'll write it here. So we can write that as 2 radius of Cl minus plus 2 radius of Na plus should be equal to edge length. So therefore, R Cl minus plus R Na plus is equal to A by 2. We'll get that as A by 2. I hope all of you understood this point, how the NaCl looks like. Okay. Next, if you see ZNS, ZNS is the second type of category for FCC. In ZNS, we will see ZNS is also called as sphalerite or zinc blende type. In here, S2 minus is forming the lattice. So, which means it will have it on all corners and faces, which makes it 4 atoms. Zn plus 2 is present in tetrahedral voids, students. It is present in tetrahedral voids, but only alternative tetrahedrals, not all tetrahedrals. Total, we have 8 tetrahedral voids, but it is covering only 4 of them alternatively. If it is on this particular corner, if one zinc is found on this particular close by corner, and if you draw the body diagonal towards me here at the bottom of my chair here, then here somewhere here there should be one more tetrahedral void, but here zinc is not found. On one body diagonal, only one zinc is found. So like that, there are 4 body diagonals. You can see this is one body, this is one body diagonal, you have found one here. This is one body diagonal, we have found one here. This is one body diagonal, we have found one here. This is one body diagonal, we have found one here, like this. So we will have 4 zinc alternatively distributed. So therefore we have 4 zinc here in the alternative tetrahedral voids. Coordination number of zinc is 4 because it is touching 4 sulfides. And S2 minus is also 4 because every S2 minus has the nearest atom as zinc only in 4 different cubes. So therefore, coordination number of S2 minus is also 4. Clear? If you wanted to calculate the packing fraction with the tetrahedral voids, okay, you include the tetrahedral voids also. Normally we write 4 times of 4 by 3 pi r cube. Now since tetrahedral 4 of the tetrahedral voids are also covered, write that area also. That whole divided by a cube will give you packing fraction or packing efficiency. Dear students, so this is the information you must know. Like this, we have calcium fluoride and antifluoride, and finally CaCl. Only these 5 are there in our syllabus. Only these 5 are there in our syllabus. Other than that, we will not. Other than that, these are all out of syllabus. There are futile. Then we have pervosite. There are a lot of other types of crystals which is not there in our syllabus. So these are the only 5 ionic crystals which are asked. One bonus on top of that is diamond, and diamond exactly replicates zinc sulfide. Instead of sulfides and zinc, imagine everything is carbon. That is diamond structure. Zinc also and sulfide also is covered by carbon itself. Then that becomes diamond. That's it. Okay. I would suggest you guys just go through the rest of the cases where calcium is fluoride is, what is antifluoride and what is cesium fluoride. So next session, I will discuss about rest of the cases, what are the voids exactly here, and finish up the rest of the problems here. Okay. So you will have a lot of thing to read first. So I would suggest you have a reading on this, and Saturday possibly I will discuss rest of the part and finish the solid state part. Okay. If you guys have any doubt.